Okay, so we look in Parshas Chukas. Okay,
Okay.
and the Nesivos Shalom says he brings a Gemara in Brachos. The Gemara in Brachos says Rish Lakish says, how do we know that the Torah that we learn is really not going in us, and we're not really, it's not through and through, unless we kill ourselves over it, quote unquote. Okay, what does that mean? We can say that we're not just learning. For sure, we're not learning it as a lecture, as a academic purposes and stuff like that. We're going really deep into it, and we really want to try our best to live it,
the nitty gritty,
right? And but not only that, to really, like, you can go to analytics as a lawyer and get to the nitty gritty, but when you want to do this because it's part of our soul, it's part of, we really want to get into it. So, and that's giving our lives for it, whatever we can, giving our lives for it. Skipping a meal, skipping whatever. That is what it's talking about. So that's what Rish Lakish says in the Gemara. And where does he get this from? From Parshas Chukas. It says, "Zois Chukas Atara she'etziva Hashem leimar," and it says, "Adam ki yamas ba'ohel," right? A person who dies in an ohel, right? So obviously, on the surface, what is it talking about? Is it talking about a person that actually is literally dying, and therefore, if I'm in that room, or I walk into that room, and that person is not living anymore, a Jewish person, more precisely, is in there, then I become tameh, right? Because that's called tumas ohel. So that's what it's really talking about, right? So tumas ohel makes anything that's within it, when a person dies, a Jewish person dies underneath a roof, then anything that's underneath that becomes tameh. But here, Rish Lakish is taking it, and see, the Gemara says that really it's referring to, why does it could use any type of thing that is covering. It uses ohel because ohel, as we know, is also referring to Yoshev Ohalim, which means to learn Torah. So we're learning it. Sitting in a tent means learning Torah, as we know from Yaakov, right? Not just you and me sitting in a tent, but sitting in a tent as Yaakov sitting in a tent, right? So therefore, the obvious question is, what's going on? Why does it has to be ohel dafka, right? Why is it ohel? The Marsha says that how did our sages learn this out? It says they learned it out from the psukim, because when we're talking about the psukim, when a person touches a dead body under no roof, right, or touches a piece of a dead body, right, so it doesn't say anything about Zos HaTorah. It doesn't say the words, this is the law, this is the Torah. It could say other things. There's many other ways that we introduce, the Torah introduces a mitzvah. It could say, this is the chok, this is the mitzvah, this is this. But Zos HaTorah, why does it have to say this is the Torah of a person that dies in an ohel? So therefore, because that it uses that lashon only by ohel, and not by any other type of impurity with a dead person, a dead Jew, so therefore, we see from that it's talking about it ohel haTorah. It's talking about the tent of Torah. Okay? That's what the Marsha says. And therefore we learn that really, if you really want the words of Torah that you're learning to really, really take an effect on you, you have to kill yourself over it, metaphorically. So the question is, like,
breaking teeth on it.
Yeah, but giving it your all, and not stopping for nothing, right? So the question the Nesivos Shalom says is, why is this drasha that we learn out from these psukim of, a person killing himself over Torah is necessarily only by ohel? And why is it? What does it have to do with Tuma? What does it have to do with Tumas Mace? We're talking about Torah, right? What does that have to do with Tumas Mace? And the second question is, why isn't this law, in order to, if I really want that the Torah, the words of Torah really take an effect on me, what should I do? I should make sure to kill myself over it. Why isn't that part of the 48 ways in Pirkei Avos, where it says the 48 ways to acquire Torah? It's not listed there. So why isn't it? So there's two questions. Number one, why is it necessarily in the what we learn about killing ourselves over Torah and how important it is to do that with Tumah? Why is it in the Parsha of Tumah necessarily as with an OL? And also, why is it that it's not written in the amongst the 48 ways in Pirkei Avos? Those are the two questions. We're going to have another two questions in a minute or two, but let's continue. So, in the beginning of the Parsha, it talks about the burning, to take a red heifer, a red cow, and we burn it, right? So, that the Sfarim HaKadoshim mention that what is it referring to? It's referring to that if I want to acquire Torah, I have to burn my cow. What does that mean? I have to burn my materialistic desires. I have to burn my physical things that I want that is really not.
How can you, if you burn one of the materialist, what do you have left then?
Good question. So the what we're saying here is that when we need to go ahead and, of course, I need my pencil, I need my papers, I need this. Of course. But we're talking about materialistic things that are not going to be in aligning with my learning of Torah, right? Simply put, you could go into even more than that. Like look at Shimon Bar Yochai, and Rav Shimon Bar Yochai and his son. They didn't have anything. They had sand. They didn't even have clothing, right? So they gave up all materialistic things just for Torah, right? So that we see in the beginning of the Parsha, we see that burning the Parah is a metaphor for burning and getting rid of our materialistic desires. Okay? That's
very hard to do.
1 minute.
Okay.
Nobody said it's easy. Okay? Did anybody say life is easy?
No.
Ari Fuld, Hashem Yukondomo, said, if your life is easy, then you're living it wrong. Okay? We know that. Life is hard, and it's supposed to be hard. And the harder it is, the more that we can handle. Hashem doesn't give us anything that we can't handle. Okay, so now we have that. We have to, imagine this. Imagine Rabbi Yehuda Anasi, who is the greatest of, he wrote everything. He was part, he didn't write it down, but, right? So Rabbi Yehuda Anasi writes the Mishnah, right? And he authored the Mishnah, he put it together, right? So why is it, he was also rich. Do you think, yeah, he was very rich. Do you think that he was sitting there and as he's learning, smoking a cigar, drinking a pina colada?
No.
I don't think so either, okay? As much as he was rich, he really put himself into Torah. He devoted his life, he put his life forward only for Torah. So therefore, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about, yes, I can have materialistic things, but what do I do with them? How do I use them, right?
The guy gets to share Stevansky, he's got $100 million.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that him for the Daf Yomi?
Yeah, Daf Yomi.
Really?
Yeah, he's got $100 million. He had a business and sold it. He had $100 million.
Wow.
Okay, he still has to support it. He still has monthly support for his Daf Yomi.
Well, probably because
it costs,
costs money, life.
It costs money,
Life.
absolutely.
Right.
Even dedicating yourself, you still need material.
Right, 100%. So there's one level is getting rid of our materialistic things, how they rule over our life, getting rid of it. right? The second level is a higher level, and that is killing ourselves, quote unquote, over Torah. Okay? So, and the last two questions that we're going to ask is that what are the two ways? What is it that we get by submitting our materialistic desires to Hashem and just focusing on Torah? And the second thing is that we have to go ahead and kill ourselves over it. What does this mean? What are these two things what are we getting from this? We were saying there's two different things here. Yeah.
It's a question what you get in return. You give up, what do you get in return?
Right. So
you give and I take. I want something in return.
Okay. Very good. So there's two different things over here, and we want to find out what is it, these two steps, what and how do we relate that to our lives? And also the second question is, what is the fact that we see that these rules of Torah that are so basic in order for us to acquire the Torah, like getting rid of the materialistic desires. And the second thing is to really, really have it take effect on us, we have to kill ourselves over it. What does that have to do with the discussion of purity? Why is that decided to be here as opposed to anywhere else in the Torah? We're learning it out metaphorically from this, the portion of the cow and being able to make the red cow helping us purify something. What does that have to do with it? What does one have to do with the other? So listen to what the Nesivos Shalom says. He takes this from the Bach first and foremost. The Bach says that we have to make a bracha as we do every morning. That we have to b'divrei Torah, to be more precise. La'asok b'divrei Torah, meaning that we have to involve ourselves, toil with Torah. Okay? So what does that mean? What do we get from that? We are clinging to Hashem, which is really what our goal is. We have to cling to Hashem, cling to God. That means that we are davuk, like devek is glue, okay? That we are clinging to Hashem. We're totally connected to Hashem. That's our goal in life. And not only that, we should be clinging all the way with our 248 limbs and our 365 sinews to the 365 all the 248 positive commandments and all the 365 negative commandments. Everything should be in sync. So
it's a nice wish.
Right. And that is how we are able to sanctify ourselves with the Torah. We can sanctify ourselves with the Torah. So what is Hashem wants that we should, Hashem's intent for us to learn Torah is because Hashem wants the light of Torah to be coming inside us. He wants us to be fueled with that light of Torah. Okay? So through this, the Sfarim tell us that if I really do this right, and I really learn Torah the proper way, then I become a Heichel Hashem. I become like a room that holds Hashem. Okay? And the second thing is, not only that, I become a chariot for the Shekhinah.
Interesting.
Okay? That's what it says. Now, that means that the Shekhinah is really within, he's within me.
Right.
Because I'm doing this, if I'm doing it correctly. Right? So these two things.
That's not for normal people.
Well, it says Moshe's lineage back in Shmos. It says Moshe's lineage right before he starts doing all the miracles that Hashem gave him, right?
Okay.
And he does all these amazing things, right? Why does it say his lineage? Rashi says that we have to learn from this that he was
Everybody has a
he is a normal human being. He was not anybody that was a malach that Hashem picked out of the Shemayim. He was a normal human being, and he just took his potential to the highest. You understand? So everybody has the ability, the potential to be the highest of themselves. Okay,
but not at the same level.
100%. But guess what? What I can reach today, what you and I can reach today, is nowhere near what a shuman. If we put our lives totally living the way Hashem wants us to live, right?
Yeah.
And we did it from the time we were 13 until the time we're 80, we're not going to get to the level of what in past generations a shoe repair person was able to get, because our levels were much greater then. But I still became, if I did that, I'm much higher than him. Not only that, I could be considered as high as the greatest sage of that time, even though I didn't get to what he got to.
I forgot to tell you.
Yeah.
I didn't remember. Rabbi Torsky's father is older than me. He was born in 1948.
Okay. Now that makes more sense.
Okay.
Okay.
As I asked him
So-
last night, the I switch off. Suddenly I got about Joseph.
Right.
I have to play my politics because I
Okay.
I like his voice.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So therefore, we have to remember that the fact is that we are, what's holding us back from really doing what we should be doing? Because we're in a physical body.
Right.
Our neshama wants to learn all day, all night, but our body is not letting, it's going against it, right?
Yeah.
So the fact is we are physical. We are materialistic, physical, right?
Yeah.
And that is the source. It's the cause and the source of impurity. Being the fact that we're physical, I'll ask you simply, spiritual things, can they make us impure? No. So our spiritual neshama cannot make us impure.
It's physical things.
It's the physical things. So therefore, my physical body is the cause and the source of impurity.
Okay.
Okay. Now, it says,
So you don't live in a bubble?
wait a second, and even a bubble can have impurity, right?
If you live in a plastic bottle, you're away from everything.
It's true, but inside, once the person passes, once the Jew passes, inside that plastic bottle, he's dead. If he's dead,
Yeah.
there's impurity,
Right.
right? So it says that the reason why, right? The reason why a person is a Jewish person that is living doesn't actually, even though he has all the potential for impurity, I'm not going to make this table or this keli, this vessel, impure. Why not? Because, and only until after I pass. Why? Because the fact that I have the light of my neshama inside me, making me live, so therefore, the impurity cannot live within inside me because I have the light of the neshama inside me.
Okay.
So therefore, the impurity cannot live within inside me. So within me. So
you can't be impure then.
as we're living from ourselves, we can come impure for something else.
But if we're living, then you shouldn't become impure from touching somebody that's not pure.
No, because we are
Is that-
still affected. I hear you.
Purity, trump the impurity that's going to be from the other person then?
That's an excellent question. The fact is, so we have a mitzvah to keep ourselves holy.
Okay.
Okay. And there's all different parts of that. Like, for instance, yes, nowadays they found out that different things that the Torah says we shouldn't do are actually better benefits for our health not to do. However, even without that, it's not just the health benefit that we're staying away from pig, right? There is a health benefit, but it's not just that. It's making our bodies impure, right or wrong. Do you feel that Why is it you could ask the same question on pig, can't you? Why is it that we're so holy inside, so therefore we can eat whatever we want because our holy should trump it?
Right.
No, but it doesn't.
No.
And why doesn't it? Because the Torah made us, in order to keep that, yes, we're always going to have a bit of holiness. There's no question. But are we going to be able to, it's like when I was trying to do kiruv, right? The first and foremost I want to do, yes, the goal is to at least, get them on the path back to their heritage. But and the first goal of that is let them not think about marrying out, right? But how do we get there? When we stop them from eating non-kosher, it's a game changer, because the non-kosher really affects us. Okay, it affects our neshama in a very, very spiritual way that it's something that we can't. It's not tangible. Okay, so because it affects us, therefore, even though we are very holy and we have a part of Hashem within us, but it affects us. And therefore, we cannot come to that potential that we were talking about unless we get rid of it. So how do we get rid of it? First of all, we stop letting things that are not kosher in our mouths. And we also, when it comes to impurity, we don't want to be affected by the outside impurity.
But not only when you're talking in your mouth, it's not only food. It's, you can extend it to everything.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And that is very difficult to do, especially where we're living.
100%.
Even where you are.
100%.
It's not 100%.
No, 100%. I think it's easier to live.
Even where you are.
Right.
It's easier. I agree.
Right. It's definitely easier. But it's still a battle. It's a battle everywhere. As long as the fact that God woke me up this morning, that means I have a job to do.
You got another job to do.
Right. So
you're here for another day.
That's right. So
more work for you to do.
Right. So only when a person actually passes, that's when the neshama goes away from the body and the body itself becomes impure. So the materialistic part of the body itself is the thing that it has the tumah within it, but it cannot become tameh as long as the neshama is in there. Once the neshama leaves, then it becomes tameh. So that's why HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us the power of Torah, that he said that in order that we should be able to keep ourselves pure and keep ourselves sanctified, we have Torah to be able to we're not going to come. If I'm learning Torah properly, I won't want to eat a cheeseburger.
Fall back on.
More than that, it's something to give us, it's like there are certain diets, if we do it properly. I'm talking about just, nutritional diets, that really sugar is bad for us. We know that, right?
And it's very hard to find fat without sugar.
Exactly, very true. So if you are on like ketosis, where you are not, you don't have sugar, the addiction to sugar is what makes you want to eat more sugar. Right. You don't have it. You don't have that addiction, and therefore, so it's not just something to fall back on. It's even more than that. What happens is that I don't have the desire anymore for those materialistic things. And I am able to, I'm not going to want those things, and I'm going to be able to, the materialistic desire is going to go away, and I'm going to be able to kill myself over Torah, quote unquote, to be able to really come to that level. And that's why, Hashem gives us that, because he wants us to come at our highest potential. So, and it's not possible to do that without Torah that Hashem gave us, because there's no way that we could take ourselves out of this materialistic being to become the highest potential that we can. So therefore, we need Torah to help us to do that. Now, it says on this discussion, what does it say? Adam ki yamus ba'ohel. A Jewish person that dies in a tent. So that the whole purpose of to be able to reach what Hashem wants of us is that every Jew becomes a heichal, a tent of Torah. Okay, so and like we talked about with what the Bach said, that in order for us to be that way, to be able to be the chariot for the Shekhinah, right? It's not possible to do it unless we really give it our all. And how does it mean giving it our all? Not just throwing away the materialistic things from our desires, but on top of that, to kill ourselves over it in such a way that we're giving it all. So the Rambam says in Hilchos Talmud Torah, it says that a Jewish person, that he really uplifts his heart in a way that he wants to be crowned with the crown of Torah, then the only way that that's possible is that he has to have his mind on it all the time. Now, you might say that's pretty hard, right?
Yeah, especially in the real world.
Right. Well,
make-believe world,
okay.
you can do it.
Okay. However, the Rabbi Victor Miller says, he gives an example. He says that we can have two people. They both had it from life, went to yeshivas, they got their degrees, let's say they became a lawyer, okay? Mm-hmm. Both of them become a lawyer. They get up in the morning, they have a seder in the morning, and then they have a davening, and then they learn some halachas, and then they go to work. 9 to 5, they're at work, right?
Okay.
And then they have another seder at night. They take care they provide for their families, they take care of the kids, everything's good, right? One of them could be 24/7 learning and involving himself, connecting himself with Hashem's will of Torah constantly. And the other one is just doing it when he actually is learning Torah.
Okay.
How? The answer is because...
I thought I was going to ask a different question.
What was the other question?
Which one's better?
I'll tell you which one's better. Oh, you know what? I'll tell you the answer first, and then you'll tell me which one is better. Okay? So God told us that we have to make a living, right? Mm-hmm. So in order for us to make a living, we have to do whatever is good for us to do, whatever we feel that's our best thing for our our strengths, our weaknesses, whatever we can. So if that's the case, then really I'm doing the work, I earn the money. It's all about me, right? Wrong. Because you can have someone, true or not, you can have someone who went through all the same. There are two people. One went through all the exams and all this, and not he passes. The other one passes with flying colors, right. And then he's not successful in his job, even though he passed everything.
You got to apply.
What?
You got to apply.
No, both of them apply the same way.
No.
What?
How you use it?
You're right, but the bottom line is, it has to do with Hashem.
Okay.
It has to do with Hashem. A person can be the best doctor, and you have two different doctors. One has horrible bedside manners, and the other one has great bedside manners. And it turns out that the horrible one bedside manners is going to do something that is that malpractice, right?
Right.
Right. So why is that? Because it's all up to Hashem. Everything is up to Hashem. So if I'm going to go, there was actually a story that the Chovos HaLevavos talks about, that a person, he was an artist or something he did with his hand, and somebody said, "How's everything?" He says, "As long as my hand works, I'm good." That day he had an accident with his hand. He could never use his hand again, because what is he saying? He was punished because he took what God gave him, the talent, and he attributed to that instead of to God, right? So Victor Miller says these two people, the lawyers that we were talking about in the example, one of them, he knows that all the degrees that I got and all are worthless. It's actually like I'm grinding water, not doing anything. I'm just grinding water, right? But guess what? That's what Hashem wants me to do. And I'm doing it because Hashem wants me to do it. And if a person has that in his mind, then his entire day 9 to 5. And the sleep that he has at night
That's what I
for that job
just because the
is
guy
all what? Is all holy. It's all holy because he has that in mind. But if the other person is only thinking during the day, is because I got that degree over there and I got that degree over there, right? And it's all about
my
me.
favorite expression is take all your degrees, that's 350 buy coffee at Starbucks.
That's right.
That's what I said.
Much more than that by now. Right. The Rambam says that he has to totally be involved in it and not take his mind off of it. So how do we do that? Because if I know that I am sleeping, I'm not sleeping because I want to sleep. I'm sleeping because I need to sleep.
Right.
Because I want to be able to do Hashem's will tomorrow.
Right.
And I'm eating because I need the strength.
To continue it.
Right. And I'm not overeating and
Right.
So it says that there's actually 3 different parts to Torah. So there's 3 parts. We mentioned there's 3 parts to the actual learning of the Torah. Number 1 is the learning itself, which by doing that, you're mekayim the mitzvah of learning Torah. That's number 1. Number 2 is you have to get rid of the materialistic desires. I have to get rid of my materialistic desires. That's number 2. And the third and highest level is killing myself over it, meaning giving it my all. Okay? So this unique level of what the Rambam says, that somebody who really wants to keep this mitzvah, do this mitzvah, perform the mitzvah of learning Torah at its best, then he has to, and to be able to be crowned with Torah, then he has to come to the point of, quote unquote, killing himself over it. And through this, that we see where it says in the beginning of the Parsha that when we mentioned V'saraf Sapara, that he has to burn the cow, so that the part of we're not even talking about the higher level there. According to what the Rambam's saying, is that that's part and parcel of learning Torah. Meaning you can't really learn Torah when you have materialistic desires. It's it's just like another book that you're reading. It's not holy if you still have your materialistic desires. And then after that, when you're truly learning, because you got rid of those materialistic desires, of course, I'm not saying we're going to be perfect and have no materialistic desires, but to the point where we can control them and put them in place and put them in check, right? And then therefore, then you got to come to the next level, which is, giving it my all by, memis atzmo, that we quote unquote kill ourselves over it.
Well,
So
like we said the other day, if you learn, say, 2 hours in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, you got to work for a living. If everybody sat and learned Kola all day, who's going to support you? There's no.
that's 100% true, but that's not materialistic desire.
Not?
No.
What do you call it?
If I want to work to be able to make money to support my family,
Right.
I shouldn't be doing it because I want to. I should be doing it because God told me to.
Okay.
So God,
but it's still materialistic.
no,
value.
it's not. It's materialistic value, but it's not materialistic desire.
Sure, material is not sitting learning.
But it's not desire.
Okay.
Remember what we said about the 2 lawyers? One lawyer can be learning getting mitzvahs constantly.
Right.
From
nothing. The other lawyer could be the best genius, and.
Yeah, but the point is that he's devoting his life. He knows that all his degrees are nothing. It's all from Hashem, and all his work and his performance is nothing.
Here, who's sitting and learning all day long. Okay, that's all he knows: sit and learn all day. Open the Gemara and learn all day.
Which helps a lot of people.
Well, let's get to that other time. That's my disagreement. Okay, versus lawyer B, who learns an hour or 2 hours in the morning, 2-3 hours at night, and works your day as a successful lawyer. He's able to work materialistic value, buys his fancy house, buys his car, which is materialistic, right? And is able to support his family, with the things they want, and not be able to give to tzedakah a lot of support.
Right.
But if you don't have lawyer B, you can't have lawyer A sitting and learning all day long, because you still need lawyer B learning
100%.
materialistic values.
Listen, in the letter of the Vilna Gaon,
Okay.
he says, popular to contrary to popular belief, he says that everybody has to work.
Yeah.
Okay, and the literature yeshivas, decide to make it that everybody has to learn. I'm not saying there has to be at least 10. There should be at least 10 people in every community that are devoting themselves to learning, and the rest should be working. Okay, so the fact is that materialistic value everybody needs to have. Okay, even a kollel person learns all day. It's not bad for him to go ahead and tutor on the side and teach on the side to be able to make money.
But they don't do that.
There are yesh v'yesh. There are. Okay. I have.
This is the objection I had. As I told you, and what they want here.
Okay. Anyway, so it says now that we still didn't answer the question. What is the fact of tuma, impurity, to be that connected with the Torah could have put this law or this high level of both the levels of burning our materialistic desires, and of the fact that we have to kill ourselves over it. Could have put it in something else. Why is it put in the Parsha of the tent, a person dying in a tent, and the whole thing in Paraduma? Why? What does tuma, impurity, have to do with Torah learning? Okay, so he answers like this. Very interesting. He says there's different levels of learning, as we mentioned.
Okay.
Right? There's also different levels of tuma, impurity. Okay, so when the tuma, if I just sit in a desert and have my little hut and nobody's around me and I'm learning Torah all day, that's nice, but it's not good enough, because I really should be spreading the Torah, right? So when I'm alone without teaching anybody, without sharing my knowledge with each other, right? It's a problem, okay? Because we need to. And therefore, that's what ohel comes in, the tuma, the impurity, is the same way. Because you can have somebody dead in a field, it's not going to affect anybody until they come and touch him. But when he is in an ohel, it affects everybody around him. And that is the point of Torah learning as well.
So when you're learning with your other pal, one together, that's not spreading Torah.
Sure it is.
How?
Oh, wait a second. You're saying...
I'm here and you're here. We're both learning, bouncing off of each other, and that's where it stays. See, this is what it...
Well, no, this is going on the internet. So it's spreading a little bit. But no, I'm saying it's spreading. It is spreading. Okay?
If I'm learning with you together, one-on-one, and nobody else around, or you got 4 of the rabbis, they're also learning one-on-one. How's that spreading Torah?
Okay. Let me clarify. That is true, by the way. That does work that way. It does.
Okay.
Okay, because when it says that every community should have 10 batlanim, which means 10 learners.
Right.
Right. Even if they don't come and they don't be part of it, we saw that by Sodom. Sodom and the 5 cities that had to be killed, had to be destroyed by Hashem. Avram was saying that if there's 10, just 10 tzaddikim, they're all saved.
You went down to 1.
Right.
Shows you.
But what I'm trying to say is, what is going to save a community? People learning Torah, even if other people are not involved. Okay. But you're right. The best thing is that people should be involved, and they should be involved with each other 100%. However, when you have someone, even one rabbi with one other layman, they're learning with each other, he's spreading his Torah to somebody else.
That's layman.
Right.
I didn't say layman. You
Right.
said layman. I didn't say layman.
Okay, I hear
Okay.
you. So that's what I'm saying. But and the fact is, yes, we need to. I mean, I'm gonna give a shout out to somebody named Elio Pereiro, who lives in Tzfat. He was the one who pushed me to record my shiurim that I give, and he says there's no reason not to. You're doing it anyway. You might as well record it. And so it's thanks to him. But anyway,
Thank you. Tell him thank you.
So I thanked him, and I can thank him again. Bezat Hashem when I get back to Tzfat.
So thank him for me too with the Tzfat.
I will. Bezat Hashem. Believe that there. So it says. So now back to what the Bach said, right?
Yeah.
The Bach said that, if you remember, we said that the reason why it says the language that the Chazal put us to be able to, before we learn, we have to say Asher sok b'divrei Torah. That means that we have to really involve ourselves in Torah. We have to really not just learn it as another subject, but to involve ourselves with Torah, be totally involved. Why? Because that's the way to get connected to Hashem. And that's our goal, right? The goal of learning Torah is to get connected to Hashem. And it says, as David HaMelech says in Tehillim, it says, Achas sha'alti me'es Hashem osa avakesh, shifti b'veis Hashem kol yomei chaya v'lachas b'nei Hashem v'lo'akir b'cholo. That one thing I ask from Hashem, and that thing is what I request, that I should live, dwell in the house of Hashem all the days of my life, and to be able to be in the pleasant of God, and to visit his heichal, his hall. So the question here would be, how is it possible this is a question from you, that how is it possible to be constantly involved in only with Hashem and nothing else? We have the olam is the olam asiyah. It's the world of work. We need to do work, right? That's what Hashem wants us to do. So he says the answer is that the main request of David HaMelech, what he's saying over here, was that his own house should be the house of Hashem. That he should uplift and elevate his own dwelling, that it should be the house of Hashem. So he's not going to say that I'm going to go to the Beis Medrash and stay there. No, I'm going to make my house where Hashem was going to want to put his Shekhinah there.
So shouldn't your learning here transfer to your own house?
Of course. But if I really learn the proper way, even if I'm not in my house when I do so, right, then my house is going to change.
Right.
It's going to be different. It's going to be better. So, so that is the purpose of the Avodas Hashem that we have to do. That all the reality, all the mitzius of a Jew is that we totally need to spread, and really be connected to Hashem. And the only way to do that is by learning His Torah. Or I should say, the best way to do that is to be learning His Torah. And we know that also another pasuk, it says, Hashem says, "V'asu li mikdash v'shechanti b'socho." Right? You make for me a dwelling place, right? A holy place for me, and I will live. It should say in it, but instead it says in them. And we learn out, Rashi says, and other Mefarshim, that basically what it's saying over here is that each and every one of us
will get a piece of me.
Meaning Hashem is going to live within each one of us.
Right.
If we do it the proper way, the way Hashem is, and we really make not only the shul or the yeshiva or the Beis Medrash, but our own house, our own selves.
Part of it is going to have off on you, and that
right.
is going to have off wherever you are.
Exactly. So that, because that's the purpose of the creation, that each and every person should be a Beis Hashem, a house of Hashem. And that is the power of the we have to have a way to be able to, there's always contrasts, right? There's two sides of every coin. And the only way that we can fight against our materialistic desires is to learn Torah. And that's the koach hanegdi, the opposite force that is helping us to be able to achieve our goals and to be able to be the support of the chariot of Hashem and to be the Beis Hashem. And we should always zocha to actually have that happen.